Hey, I'm Matt Stradley. This is the Jet, John Williams. You're joining us on the Bulldog Breakdown. John, we got a lot of basketball to watch this week, and it all kicks off with the Bulldog men home against Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell, and you've got to also think about Chris Clemens here. He is a walking, talking, drinking, sleeping bucket. That's what he does. He can score the ball in a barrage of different ways. He'll knock down the three. You got to guard that. But then also, if you close out too heavy, he'll drive all the way to the basket. He can finish with contact, mid-range pull-ups, just in tough shots. Like I'm talking about just shots that you're like, he shouldn't shoot that, but then he makes them consistently. So you can't really, if you're a coach, you're just like, well, he usually makes those. He practice that shot.
It's a tough test for a Bulldog team that's still winless in conference, but they've looked better in their last two games.
Yeah, they've progressively gotten better each game. And I think that's what Coach Mike Morrell wants is daily deposits of improvement. Not wins, but getting better towards the end goal. And that's what it takes to build a culture. Not the win column, but more of, are we getting better every single day? And that's what he has challenged his players to do thus far. And going against, Campbell, it's going to be a good test for him, but it also is going to be a test for them to see if they can defensively withstand the offensive power that Campbell has within.
And Clemens leading the NCAA in scoring, and the Bulldogs will have to be on their game defensively. And do you think they'll still employ the zone that they've been doing?
Well, the matchup zone that they run, I call it Texas, but the matchup zone that they run, I assume that they will use it for rest purposes and also personnel, because there may be situations where you have a player that might be a little bit slower that can't guard this guy or that guy, and you go to your zone to offset that until whoever you have on the bench can come back in and give you some man-to-man minutes. And so he'll probably go to that zone at some point, and also to throw them off of their offensive sets, because when you see a zone, if you're thinking a man-to-man offense, all of a sudden you see zone, you're like, wait, bring it back out. Now we've got to run this zone offense, and then they get into their zone offense. By that point, you've wasted 4 or 5 seconds on that shot clock. Then desperation sets in, and now you have an advantage defensively. So it will be a chess move or strategy that Mike Morrell could use just to keep the Campbell offense on their toes, so that they're not comfortable in their offensive sets.
Do you commit the energy to stopping Clemens or attempting to stop Clemens? I don't know if you can actually stop him. Or do you make sure that nobody else gets off?
Well, it's kind of like Kobe. Like, you can't stop Kobe, but one of the things that you could do was to take him out of his offensive spots or his comfortable spots. Everybody has a rhythm area, and Chris Clemens has those all over the floor. But if you can blow up his spots, or him getting to his spots, or making it tougher for him to get to his spots, that is how you alter his shots. I remember when I played against really high-level players when I was coming up in college, and I would have to scout them. I'd say, okay, well, this play leads up to the spots that they want, or their sweet spots where they can get their shots up. And so what I would try to do was I would try to alter that route so that they could not get to their sweet spots, and make them take a shot, even though they're capable of making that shot, but take a shot, contest it in a different area that they're not used to. And I think that's what UNC Asheville should use to their advantage, is blow up the spots or the sweet spots that Chris Clemens usually gets himself into comfortably, and get him in shots where he can make shots all over the floor, but we're at places that are unfamiliar to him.
To where he has to work harder to get those 30.
He has to work harder to get those, at 27, 30, whatever he's getting.
I got you. And it doesn't get any easier for the Bulldogs on Saturday. Radford, in my opinion, one of the most NBA-ready players in the conference, Ed Polite.
Yeah, but they also have a three-headed monster when you add Ed Polite to Travis Fields Jr. and the reigning freshman of the year, Carlik Jones. All three of those players, if somebody goes down, another head pops up. I'm telling you. And so one of the things that they have to be mindful of is their balanced offense and also their physicality. Radford likes to establish themselves in the post first. They've got Sala down there. You can finish over both shoulders. He'll dunk on you. He's seasoned. He's poised. He's mature. And he gives a lot of good minutes for the Radford Highlanders. And so if you look at that balanced team, something that you're going to have to combat against. If you're UNC Asheville, you've got to do all the little things right. That means controlling the controllables, boxing out, establishing the ball, limiting second chance opportunities on the boards, then running your offensive sets, not letting Radford's physicality and athleticism blow you up out of your offensive sets, and running them clearly and making yourself available when there are going to be some blow-ups, so that you don't get turnovers, because Radford can force a lot of turnovers and getting the shots that you want. Usually Radford can dictate shots that the teams that they play against want, and so that's something that you're going to have to look out for UNC Asheville this weekend. And they come as presented as one of the better teams in the Big South Conference.
It's going to be a big task for Gilmore, Peck, and Cody Jude.
Definitely down low. I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, because of their ability to establish themselves in the paint. But in that paint establishment then opens up the drives for Carleek Jones and Ed Polite. But then they also have Travis Fields on the perimeter and Carleek Jones on the perimeter that have the ability to knock down shots at a high clip. And so it is just a nightmare for most teams that they play against in the conference.
It's a fantastic week for Bulldog fans to see, in my opinion, the best that this conference has to offer. And on the women's side, the first game of the Saturday doubleheader, you get to see, again, the best the conference has to offer, the preseason player of the year, Emma Backrath.
Yeah, Backrath come as presented there with her ability to score the ball at a high clip. It should be an interesting matchup for UNC Asheville to really show what they can do on the defensive end from a guard standpoint and being able to withstand her pushes. But also, they have another player in Lindsay Edwards. She's kind of like their glue player, the person that makes them go. Their coach has spoken highly of her a lot because of her ability to create offense through her defense. And Hyatt Point wants to be represented through their defensive play. They're known for it being stifling to the point where they blow you up out of your offense and create easy offense for themselves from the turnovers. And Lindsay Edwards is leading the helm when it comes to creating turnovers, but also just making life difficult for whoever the best player is on that opposing team.
When they match up, do you think Edwards is going to take Danook, or do you think she'll be on Wall? How do you think that'll shake out?
Well, I think she would match up better against Danook because Danook can make you pay outside of an offense. Pretty much if the offense blows up, let's say that the play didn't go as planned, Danook's going to say, get out of the way and let me work and watch me make mincemeat out of whoever's in front of me. Right. That's her mentality. And so I would if I was a coach, I would put Lindsay Edwards on Danook just because of her ability to make plays one-on-one and when the offense is deviated from the play. Now, Jessica Wall, because she's a little bit smaller, she's still strong, she has to rely on offensive sets to get herself open. If you've noticed in the last few games, she has had to really work to get herself the shots that she would like. Pre-shot preparation, pretty much just getting her defender below the screens, running off, making sure that they are hit, making sure that the screeners are sound so that she gets a good look at the basket. Even when she gets a good look, there's a flying hand coming out of there because she is on everybody's scouting report.
Great win by the Bulldogs over Campbell this past weekend after starting conference play with a 3-game losing streak. How do you continue that momentum?
Well, you got to do your job on the road. I mean, with them having USC Upstate coming up, and USC Upstate has another offensive threat, they're an offensively minded team. Going against them and at their home place in the GB Hodge Center is a very difficult place to play in, and they haven't really done well on the road, so they're going to have to make sure that they take care of their road success as well to then transition to a win, or hopefully a win for them at home when they play against High Point.
Bulldogs still looking for their first road victory on the season. We'll take on USC Upstate. That'll be their 4th game in 10 days. When you played, did you ever have that sort of stretch to open up conference play, 4 games in 10 days? And what effect did that have on your legs or on your energy level? Or did you just rely on your adrenaline to carry you through?
Well, I don't think we had that same system when we were playing because of I think we had an even man front when it came to our conference. With it being 11, I think that they were put in a situation where they had that 4-game stretch, and so I think that USC Upstate, and UNC Asheville both coming off of so many games is just expecting you to get in that tournament mode of being able to deal with several games at a time and be able to perform in each game the same way. And that also tells you kind of like who's going to come out the fire. And when we played, we had several games in a row from time to time. And we were tired, but what it also did was build resiliency. The coaches would be able to see that as far as who could finish out the season for you, and so it just shows resiliency moving forward as you go into the Big South Conference.
And when you get into the Big South Conference tournament, it's games within days of each other, so it's good practice for that. Understanding that you'll be tired after 2 games, after 3 games, but you still have to make shots.
Yeah, you still have to make shots. You still have to perform. You still have to produce. And those teams that can do that are usually the teams that come out in the NCAA tournament when it's all said and done. It's not about who is projected the best in the conference right now. It is going to be who can finish and who doesn't peak early, and who peaks at the right time. And so I think all those things come into play. But it should be an interesting game, and it should be an interesting conference moving forward.
It's going to be a lot of great basketball held at the Kimmel Arena, 3 games in the next 7 days. And if you can't be here in the Kimmel Arena, you can join us on ESPN Plus for 2 of those. The Campbell game is actually going to be on ESPN 3. Exciting times. And we thank you for joining us on the Bulldog Breakdown. For the Jet, John Williams, I'm Matt Stradley. We'll catch you next time.